Here we are at the perfect time and the perfect place, showing up with an open mind and all this space. Anything can happen here, we all play a part. Here's an invitation to the center of the heart. Take my hand, here we go. What's the plan? We don't have to know. Take a breath, make a start. Welcome home to the center of the heart. Here we are at the perfect time and the perfect place, showing up with an open mind and all this space. Anything can happen here, we all play our part. We're all in this together at the center of the heart. Take my hand, here we go. What's the plan? We don't have to know. Take a breath, make a start. Welcome home to the center of the heart. Welcome home to the center of the heart.
It's a windy day in Payson, and so we had to get in quick before we got blown away, those of us that are here. And I don't know if it's windy where you, but wind is the movement of life. So I love it in a certain way when I don't get absolutely blown away. But as we think of life this morning, and particularly think of community, because we're working with community this month of May, let us just take a moment to be quiet, to be here with each other as we open in prayer. God of all goodness, we're grateful for life, and life that's not solitary. We're not in it all on our own, but we're in it as a community, and that community is one. It's a bit of an enigma, but it's true that though we are special, though we are unique, we are one as well. So this morning, as we gather in this community, this online community, this in-person community, we are grateful for our oneness. We are grateful for our uniqueness, and we open our hearts to hear the voice of Spirit wafted in as it was on the wind, and then to go out and express that into the world. Again, I am grateful for each one who has joined us this morning, and so it is. Amen.
Amen.
So now it's time for our opening song. If you're here in person, please just stand. Well, this is the end of the other song. And we're gonna get to our opening song. And that song is Many Rivers. You're probably familiar with, if not, hum along a bit and you'll catch on. So if you're here in person and you're able and want to do so, please stand as we do our opening song.
Many lives, beliefs, and faiths, many minds refuse to change, but there is one source of life, and we all know this deep inside. Many rivers, all returning in their own way to one source. Many rivers, all converging with the one unchanging force in our lives. Many souls upon the earth, many lost lives, many hurts, but there is one force we all feel. There is one love that will heal. Many rivers, all returning in their own way to one source. Many rivers, all converging with the one unchanging force in our lives. Though our eyes may fool our minds, in our hearts we recognize we are not two souls, you and I. We are one in our source of life. Many rivers, all returning in their own way to one source. Many rivers, all converging with the one unchanging force. Well, I can listen and I can love you, even if we don't agree. 'Cause where we come from and where we're going is the same for you and me. Like many rivers, we're returning in our own way to one source. Like many rivers, we're converging with the one unchanging force in our lives.
Good morning again. My name is Donna. I'm your hostess. Good morning. Hey, see some new people walking in. So it's time for our welcome and connection and blessing of the visitors. Welcome to Unity of Payson. We're glad you're with us this morning. If you're with us virtually today, you may enter where you're joining from in the chat. And we want to recognize anyone who's new. If it's your first or second time, please raise your hand. And if you're online, you can raise your hand virtually. And can we have a gallery view? So if you're joining us online, Rev Neal invites you to stay after the service so he can greet you. Let's see. And if you're with us in person, please stay. We have a potluck after the service with the United Methodist Church right down the hall.
Well, we're here today.
We're here
Set
today.
up in here. Today.
We're here today. Isn't that good? I'm here today too. All right.
So there's 6 people on, but I think if the camera's not on, that might be why we're not seeing them.
Okay. Let's see. I don't see anybody new, right, Terry?
No.
No.
Okay.
So we have one new person here in.
Yes, we do.
Ron, can you introduce that fellow beside you?
Yes, this is Connor, my grandson.
Hey, Connor. Welcome. So, if you'd like to be informed of our weekly activities, we have a Monday e-newsletter, and we just need your email to do that. So please leave us your email in the chat or go to the contact page of unityofpayson.org and leave us a message, and we'll get that to you. Again, we warmly welcome you, and from our Unity of Payson family, we say together, we love you, we bless you, and we welcome you. Okay, gratitudes. We're grateful for those who support Unity of Payson with your time, talent, and treasure. We're also grateful for all the events of each week and the technology that allows us to meet both in person and virtually. If you have a gratitude to share, please raise your hand. And if you're online, you can raise your hand also, or put it in the chat. And we have a gratitude from Sue over
I
here.
have a mic here and I'm about to give it to Sue.
I just was very grateful. I came back from a trip from Florida where I visited my father, who is 95 years young, I like to say, and we had a great trip, and he's doing well.
And I saw a picture of him on Facebook, and he looks great. And so did y'all.
I hope I got those genes.
Ed has gratitude.
Ed has a gratitude. Oh, we have some in the
Grateful
chat.
to be in attendance in service, because I haven't been here for 4 months, I think. Rev Neal.
Welcome back, Ed.
He hasn't been here in person in 4 months, but he's been online.
That's right.
Everybody else?
Chat room.
Chat. Hi, Connor.
That's
When I
something-
met you at Shanti Olmsted, you were very friendly and helpful. Thank you. I am grateful for kind people like you.
That's from Teresa.
So I have a gratitude. I always have a gratitude. Yesterday, Unity of Payson had an event that didn't have a crowd, but it was just perfect. Yesterday was World Labyrinth Day, and an organization that's been doing it for about 15 years does a meditation at 1 o'clock. Oneness at 1, they call it. And people are encouraged throughout the globe, throughout the whole human community, to walk a labyrinth or finger a labyrinth or think of labyrinth or draw a labyrinth at 1 o'clock. And 5 of us went and walked down into the woods to a labyrinth that was created by Kaya Coxon. And it was just a wonderful time, wonderful, wonderful time that we did. And the beauty of it, the biggest beauty of it to me, was the time of quiet. One by one, we walked the labyrinth, a small labyrinth, in quiet. Just gorgeous. And it was a beautiful day. And I'm so grateful for that kind of thing. It was fun, it was uplifting, inspiring.
Thank you, Rev Neal. Yes, I was there. And I used this a kind of chant when I was walking the labyrinth. Be still and know that I am God. And then each footstep went with that for me. And then after I finished walking and I sat on a log in the quiet, that kept going on in my head as other people were doing their footsteps through. And I was able to keep that in my head for the whole time. And that is the first time I've ever really been able to keep stuff out of my head that I don't want in there and keep focused on what I do want. So I think being outside on a beautiful day really helped. Okay, so we are going to go on. Unity is grounded in meditation and affirmative prayer. We have trained prayer chaplains to serve you in prayer. You may email your requests to neal.unityofpayson@gmail.com. The address is on the screen if you're with us virtually. And we have a prayer box on the back table where Charlotte is back and will greet you and give you a prayer request to fill out if you want to leave it there. Or you can tap one of us on the shoulder. There are 3 of us here today. Raise your hand. 4 of us, and Marie is here. Yay! Oh, I'm so used to just, looking in the front row. All right. So you can tap us on the shoulder and we will go and pray with you in a confidential, quiet place. Let's see, all prayer requests are held sacred and confidential and will join you for 30 days in prayer. And at the end of that time, I forward the request to Silent Unity and they will pray with you for another 30 days and they have a 24/7 prayer vigil. So it's very powerful. And you can call Silent Unity anytime. 1-800-NOW-PRAY is the acronym for their number. 1-800-NOW-PRAY anytime. And it's such a powerful experience. I can vouch for it. All right. And if you want to be contacted by a chaplain, leave your contact information with your request. Unity of Payson's theme for May is community. Let's do our affirmation together. Reflecting our oneness, we live and contribute to community. Good job. Today's speaker is Rev Neal Worthington, and the title of his talk is Embracing the Human Community. And for our metaphysical moment, I have a reading from The Circle of Atonement from Paul Farini. So before I read this, I just want to share something that I wrote that I believe, and that is, if you are in oneness with your divine presence, you will see the Christ in others. There is no mine or yours in presence. Presence is one. So this is from page 16. When I meet you in my own heart, there is nowhere else I have to go. As long as we both remain in our hearts, our joining continues. And coming together does not mean reaching out after you, but reaching within myself to find the place where we are connected. And now our speaker, Rev Neal, will share his message with us. Oh, it's the first Sunday. We do our mission and vision statement before Rev Neal shares his message. Let's say our mission statement together. We are a welcoming and open-hearted community, inspiring each other to live in love, joy, and service. And our vision statement. We enrich our world through spirit-centered service, positive human connections, and stewardship of all creation. And now Reverend Neal will share his message with us.
I'm going to go back for a moment, back to welcome. I saw as you put the full gallery was on the screen, Marty Lynn. I don't know you, Marty Lynn. I don't think I know you, Marty Lynn, but welcome to Unity of Payson in our morning service. I'm so glad you're with us. So who knows? Oh, here we are, quiz time again. Who knows what document, and this is long before documents were called docs or you were doxed or any of those kinds of things. Who knows what document is known as the founding document of our nation, of the United States? The founding document. Was it?
This is the Constitution.
Not the Constitution. Close. Declaration of, who said that? Okay, we needed Connor to come so he could tell us what the answer was. Now, so thank you, Connor. I appreciate you being here and giving us the answer. July 4th, 1776. The Declaration of Independence, that founding document, was unanimously voted on by 56 delegates from the 13 colonies. It was called the Second Continental Congress, met in a meeting room, now we know Independence Hall, as Independence Hall in Philadelphia. But there were a committee of 5 people that authored that document, and of course, you probably, Connor remembers, but probably the rest of us do too, that this was a point in which we were declaring independence from the authoritarian rulership of England or the United Kingdom. What did they call it back there then, Pam? Great Britain, okay. So I need help all over the place this morning. So there were a couple of people, as you will know, their names, John Adams, Ben Franklin, and Thomas Jefferson. They were a member of this committee of 5 that authored the document. However, somebody had to do the draft, had to put it together to start with, and then everybody else tinkered with it, and finally we got the document. Well, it wasn't Ben Franklin. They decided, because he was such a joker, that they couldn't have Ben Franklin was said to say God created beer because he wanted people to be happy. No, he didn't say that. But people say he said it. He actually said that the water goes into the ground and into the roots of the vine, and the vine produces the grapes, and the grapes produce wine, and people get happy, or something like that. So he was a joker, and they decided that he wasn't the one to do the first draft. Thomas Jefferson said, I think John Adams should be the one to do it. But Thomas was the one that ended up writing that first draft of the Declaration of Independence. It took him a couple of weeks. He kind of holed up and put that all together on his first draft of that. And of course, we came up with something that we all know pretty well. Now, you can say this sentence that at times has been reputed to be the most famous sentence in American English. Okay, you ready? I'll tell you, it starts with, we hold. You remember? We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men, he didn't say and women, but I'm adding and women, are created equal, and they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of. You'll all get an A. I like it. So I would love to think that Thomas Jefferson just got quiet and went inside, and out of him came, by the way, this isn't a scripture, but I'm recognizing in this document, and it relates particularly to us as Americans, a truth that I see that's there, and we'll talk about that today. But he had some resources too. Among them, you would know John Locke, Thomas Paine, people whose wise thought informed what he had to say when he produced that. Of course, he had his own part of that as well. And he came up with the idea that all men and women, I'm adding that because culturally we're at a different time, are created equal. So there are truths in these, and as I was looking at this, I decided that there were three truths that we hear about today, not always in the greatest of ways, but that they are these universal truths that are just very parallel to that Declaration of Independence. Can anybody tell me what, I'm going to give you the acronym. Well, it's not an acronym, the abbreviation. DEI. Connor? No.
That's too modern.
Diversity, equity, inclusion. Now, there may be different characterizations and mischaracterizations of these truths, but I want to tell you what I believe and how I think these are important for us today. So I'm not going to try to make it into a political thing. I'm just going to try to get the truth out there as I understand it. Of course, these truths apply to everyone of the human community. There's some application for all of us: diversity, equity, or we probably would say equality a little more commonly, and inclusion. But the question is, do we express them, and if so, how do we express them? But let's go on into them one by one and take a look at them. I put together, well, like I usually do, a key spiritual truth, except I'm going to call it an aphorism today. Or maybe not aphorism, a maxim, some truth that we all hold, regardless of whether we're part of one religion, what our spiritual practice is. I believe this is an aphorism or a truth that we can all hold. Diversity. In unity, we often refer to the fact that each of us is a unique creation. Each of us has a uniqueness. There's no one else like us in all of creation. We're all unique and all important to the human community. So, of course, we're diverse because we're unique. However, the other part of that, the other side of it, is that we're all one. That's the enigma that I was working with a little bit earlier. The creative process, whatever we deem it to be, if there's a story that works for us, but the creative process said that of that divine energy, everything that flows out from there is created in goodness. But those individual expressions, us, are created uniquely. And so there's a lot of diversity among us. We also know that creation didn't quit when the divine, and whatever our thought is about that, initiated that creation. But that we immediately became co-creators with the divine. And so that we take that creation and move it along and evolve it and raise it up. And when we do, we all rise up, all the human community. But we do that out of this pool of diversity. Unity's third principle is that we are co-creators with the divine. And co-creators all are unique, and we all contribute to the oneness that we are, all important. Have you ever been in a situation that's, you might call it, its character is homogeneous? I grew up in one of those things. I was a male. I was white. I lived in the United States in the north and the east part of the north of the United States, and most everybody I knew was like me in many, many ways. And it wasn't until I learned that like me is a very narrow slice of things, but that diversity is broad and rich and full. It wasn't until I did some traveling in the world. Many of you may have traveled abroad, and probably some of you started out like I did to think, well, I'm from America. We do everything better than everybody else. We've got the best science. We've got the best social policy. We got it all together. Well, it doesn't take long if you travel in other parts of the world to, one, recognize that other people don't agree with that. And secondly, that you begin to notice there's a diversity. Somebody has something to teach me. And it was, for me, the zenith of that came when I spent about a year and a half in India. A very, diverse country in and of itself, but certainly diverse from my upbringing and my understanding of the world. And it was that brought a great richness to my understanding, and a richness to say that diversity in India and every other place, that diversity, I'm going to pick on Connor again, in age, that diversity in how we problem solve, that diversity in how we feel, all of it is for the good of the human community. Diversity, so important. Rumi had the idea. Rumi says, Christian, Jew, he starts with the religions, Muslim, shaman, Zoroastrian, and then he gets a little broader yet, stone, ground, mountain, river. Each has a secret way of being with the mystery, unique and not to be judged. If there's any judgment we make at all, it's that this diversity makes the human family, at least gives us the potential for the human family to be raised up to be all that human family, that human community can be. Diversity. It takes a diverse world to raise up humanity. Now, how about equity or equality? In the Hebrew scriptures, Jewish tradition, the image and likeness of God is part of that creative story, that creation story. We are created in the image and the likeness of the divine. It's called in Latin, it kind of became theological after a period of time, imago Dei, I-M-A-G-O, and then D-E-I, imago Dei. And the idea was not that we as humans were seeking to be like God, to be like the divine, but that the divine was implanted in each of us. And that the potential for us reflecting that divinity in the world was there. And everybody got that. Everybody was made in the image and likeness of God. So the question of equality was not even there. We all express the divine. We all are under the umbrella of divine care. And we all have a unique relationship with the divine in that we have that divine implanted within us, that Christ within us. And so it is, we're equal on that level. When we're equal, we're not more than anybody else. When we're equal, we're not less than anybody else. Some of us go the other way and say, oh, I'm never going to be equal to somebody that we respect or look up to. And we missed the point. The point was we all are created equally, all important, none more than another, none less than another. I like what Winston Churchill said. He talked about animals and this idea of equality. He says, "I'm fond of pigs," says Winston Churchill. "Dogs look up to us. Cats look down on us. Pigs treat us as equals." And so we are equal, not looked up to in that somebody else is, I'm above them, or they think I'm above them, and not looked down on, I'm better than. This is the way the creative urge expresses. Winston Churchill is a little bit humorous. Lao Tzu says it a little more elegantly. "The earth and the stars do not take sides. To them, all people are equal and alike." That's a little bit humbling to some of us. That's a little bit elevating as well at the same time. It takes an equitable world to raise up humanity. And now on to inclusion. The poem I asked who wrote this yesterday, but I had to go and look up. Poem by Emma Lazarus, inscribed at the base of the Statue of Liberty. You remember that one? You probably could say that one too, but I'm going to read it to make sure. Well, it's on my iPad. I think I'm going to read it, if it still will come up. Hold on half a second. We'll see if it will. Here we go. This is something that was given a little bit of a new life by James Comey. Anybody remember James Comey? One of our current political figures, who commented, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door." And then he goes on to say, "This country's greatness and true genius lies in its diversity, lies in its equality. So how do we welcome? How do we bring into our lives all of those equal expressions of the divine? Or do we? Or do we turn away and say, no, this is mine. This is my border. I don't want you to come in. I don't want you to be included. Or maybe you're on the other side of it and say, well, I'm just settling for my lot because I've been excluded. The truth is that we're created to be inclusive, that we as a human community are created to welcome and invite others to participate fully. We're created to each have a voice and for that voice to be heard. Thich Nhat Hanh. I love some of these wise people. Like read, I keep a file of things. Oh, I like that. Sometime that's going to come up. Thich Nhat Hanh says this about inclusiveness. The practice of inclusiveness is based on the practice of understanding, compassion, and love. Increasing our understanding and compassion makes our heart grow greater. And what more challenge could we have? What more satisfaction could we have than that our heart grows greater? We do a little bit of that. Something has emerged. Charlotte knows this. Kindness works for all. The idea to include for everyone in the bestowal of some kindness that we have. That hasn't really gotten off the ground like I hope it will get off the ground. I'm seeing it that way. But the truth is there when we are open-hearted, when we invite, when we welcome, when we include. And that could be including, are you 13, Connor? 13-year-olds. It could include independents politically, Republicans politically, Democrats. We include all of those in our human community, our human family. We don't exclude them. So that truth comes back again. It takes an inclusive world to raise up humanity. Usually I say, how do I do that? I'm not going to say that today. I'm going to say, how do we do that? Because we're the community. And throughout this month, we'll talk about community in different ways, even the beloved community, the spiritual community that's ours. It takes an inclusive world to raise up humanity. Leo Tolstoy said in Anna Karenina, I think if it is true that there are many minds as there are heads, then there are as many kinds of love as there are hearts. So how do we do that? How do we be open-minded and welcome diversity? How do we be spiritually non-judgmental and be equality itself? Exercise equity, have that be the value that is our basis for interaction in our world. How do we include? How do we have that loving heart that Thich Nhat Hanh talked about, or that Leo Tolstoy noted? Well, I'm going to suggest here's how we do it. In preparing this message and working with Saturday Soul Boost yesterday, which is always a great help. If you haven't been to Saturday Soul Boost, it's quite a bit of fun, and it's a wonderfully engaging conversation. And if I were to give you the message at that time, it'd be totally different than the message comes out here on Sunday morning. Because it's the community working together, even a small group of community, that little bit of spiritual community, that brings out the truth ever more fully. So I'm going to say this. I have a heart for expressing the value of diversity. If that touches you, here's your assignment. Talk to me. I'd love to have you be part of that value force. You know, you talk about task force. We're not talking about tasks so much. We're talking about values. I'd love to have you be a part of that diversity value force. Or perhaps it's equality that really touches you. Talk to me. Those of you online too. Or if you're watching this recording, days or weeks from now, you have the information, get back to me and say, I want to be a part of this value force that lifts up the human community, even though it's in a very small way and a small start. Diversity, is that what really touches you? Equality, is that what touches you? Or how about inclusivity? Including. Which of these touches you? I hope one of them does, or perhaps more, but pick one, the one that really tugs at you, and talk to me. I don't know where it's going to go exactly. I don't know what's going to come out of that. But I do know giving our attention to that and making that move to say, this is an important truth that I want to see expressed in the world. I know that's important. So talk to me. Tell me you're on board of the value force about diversity or equality or inclusivity. That key spiritual truth again, it takes a world to raise up humanity, and that's what we're here for. Are you a functioning part of that world? I hope you will be. I'll be looking forward to hearing from you. And so it is. We're going to take time now to be quiet. We'll have a meditation song, and then we'll, having prepared ourselves, we'll be spending some time in quiet. One heart at a time. Aaron Drucker.
We can change the world one heart at a time. We can change the world one heart at a time. I see you, I know you, you're a part of me. We can change the world one heart at a time. We can change the world one heart at a time. I see you, I know you, you're a part of me. We can change the world, we can change the world one heart at a time, one heart at a time. We can change the world, we can change the world one heart at a time, one heart at a time. I see you, I see you, I know you, I know you, you're a part of me. And my heart is open to love. My heart is ready to love you. We can change the world one heart at a time. We can change the world one heart at a time. We can change, we can change one heart, one heart.
So let's turn our intention, our thought, our heart toward a time of quiet, remembering that we're not looking outside of ourselves or some fix, some direction. We're looking inside. because the divine is within us. And it's in the quiet that we understand that divinity that we are. Take a breath with me, a deep breath, and slowly let it out. And another, in and out. And another as you clear your mind of other thoughts and relish the divine presence. Just like the quietness that we experience when we're in the woods, with a soft breeze blowing through the trees, with the faint babble of a brook. So we listen. So we open our heart to know and to feel the truths that are implanted within us and that we recognize, we resonate with them. We give our attention to these truths. Take a moment to just reiterate those that we've discussed. The uniqueness of us all, the diverseness of the human family. The equality that characterizes our very creation and our continuing co-creation. And the wonder of that vast human community with whom we are inseparably connected. We are one. So carry this truth with us. We are diverse, that is rich and full. We are equal, that puts us all on even ground. We are more than no one and less than no one. They are never less than us, nor are they more than us. We are included in the oneness of that human family. And so we open our heart to include all others. We welcome, we invite, we listen. And as we bring our awareness back to this present time and the place where we are, we do so with gratitude, knowing that what tugs at our hearts, the thoughts we think, the things we do, the unique expressions that we create. Those come from the divine. They express into the world through us. We are grateful to be that expression. So as you come back, you may want to open your eyes, perhaps wiggle your fingers and toes and be back in this time, the place where you are. And so it is.
Before we begin our time of tithes and offerings, just wanted to share something briefly related to the message. I really believe that it starts within. The whole equality, inclusion, and diversity really begins with our own knowing that we are equal. I was at my first Unity retreat, and this was 1986, and it was called Spirit's Journey, and it was a week long in San Diego. And there was a meditation that I participated in, and it was all about our purpose in the world and in life. And I came out knowing that my purpose was to love, to extend love, to give love, to offer love. And when I came out knowing that, all of that was just a given, that we were all equal. And I love remembering that truth. So I invite each of us to think about who you are. And if you have an urge to love and to receive love, then through that you can know your own equality. So now is the time to share our gifts and offerings. These gifts support this spiritual community and also go out to the larger community. As you listen to the offering song, you will have time to make a contribution, and information for giving is on the slides. unityofpayson.org, go to the menu on the left top and click on Donate/Support, and it will take you right to a Donate tab. So let's bring our attention to our gift at this time, and let's call to mind our heart's desire. And let's together affirm, freely we give and freely we receive. And so it is. And we have Faith Rivera, Let's Stand Together, as our offertory song.
Something great is happening. Love has taken hold and it won't let go of us now.
Something here is calling us forward, upward motion with drops in one ocean. Roll on.
Will you rise up with me today? Lift up your voice and boldly say, we are the ones we've been waiting for.
Live the dream of the highest calling. Be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together. Share your gifts with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's a moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now.
Oh, oh, yes, you can do something amazing to feel your passion blazing and shine. Yeah.
Paint with every vision and dance in new directions. Explode to new heights in your mind.
I will rise up with you today.
Lift up my voice.
Lift up my voice and boldly say, we are the ones we've been waiting for.
With the dream of your highest calling, be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together. Share gifts with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's a moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now.
Let's stand together.
Hey, hey.
Hey, 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 yeah.
One dream, one voice, one heart, one world, one dream,
One dream,
one voice, one heart, one world,
stand together.
one dream, one voice, one heart, one world.
We are grateful for these gifts and the abundance that they serve. We bless them and those who give. As we say together, divine love flowing through us blesses and multiplies all that we are, all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. We are abundantly prosperous, and we give thanks. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, Anne Marie. Next Sunday's speaker is Rev Neal. Rev Neal Worthington. We continue on with our theme of community. And do we have a title for next week?
Unity in the community.
Unity in the community.
Song 2, but I fix it.
That's my
You
right.
just say and.
That's my right.
Yeah. Unity into the community. How about that? All right.
Maybe I couldn't read the writing.
Let's go ahead and do our affirmation, shall we?
Back it up.
Yeah. Reflecting our oneness, we live and contribute to community. Sometimes we have to back up in order to move forward with ease. So I'm going to share a few announcements with you today. Please check our newsletter brought to you by Terry, and also our calendar, our monthly calendar. And there are copies you can take home. And you can also see it at unityofpayson.org anytime you want to look up our events. So we have Qigong and Tai Chi, usually Sundays and Wednesdays at 4:30 on Zoom, but not today and not next Sunday. So Wednesday at 4:30, join Teresa for Qigong. You see that picture? I took that picture. The light was streaming in, and I just did a screen. I was on Zoom, and I just did a print screen of it. And there she is with that light streaming in. That's Teresa. All right, spread your light, Teresa. And A Course in Miracles with Rev Neal, Tuesday, 6 o'clock on Zoom. We have on Saturdays, 9:30 a.m. morning cafe, just 30 minutes to brighten your day. And we have 4 o'clock to 4:30 Saturday Soul Boost, another 30 minutes to brighten your day. And of course, we have potluck after service, and we have a labyrinth puzzle. This is the new labyrinth at Unity Village. please, as we're gathering in fellowship, put some pieces in. And we will probably ask Tom Lolo to frame it for us, because he's very good with framing puzzles.
He told me he was good at that. You know.
And we have our gift shop. I have a gift shop by donation and our library on the back table by window. And here's Neal with his PS.
So we're getting ready for the potluck. The Methodist Church is going to conclude about 15 minutes after we do. But right now, if you're getting information or submitting a prayer request, do that right away before you go over to put a piece in the puzzle. And then we're going to totally revamp this room, and the Methodist Church is going to come and join us in this room for potluck today. So if you brought something, you can get that out for the table there. If you didn't bring anything, there's going to be more than enough. So don't go away without. So we will enjoy the potluck together with our brothers and sisters from Payson United Methodist Church. That's about it. It's time for us to close our service. What? Oh, birthdays. Thank you, Terry. Terry, you're just keeping us on track today. Thank you very much. So let's gather around in a circle. First of all, who here has a birthday in the month of May? Maybe anybody online? Speak up if you can.
Roni and TJ.
Roni and TJ. So we've got Roni and TJ. So Roni and TJ.
Fill the gap here, people.
Yeah.
Well,
We need to come together.
I'm gonna come over here.
Oh, sorry.
So we're gonna sing happy birthday to Roni and TJ.
Okay.
Here we go.
Happy birthday to you. There's no one like you. Uniquely created. I love knowing you. I bless you with life and abundance galore. God bless you, Roni and TJ. Have many more.
And now the song.
Well, what happened to my thing? Move this out of the way. Yeah. Where is it? Uh-oh. I lost my screen. Give me a second. I think I went too far. Went too far. Here we go. Keep pushing the wrong buttons. Okay. There.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that is meant to be, with God as creator. Family are we. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me, and this is the moment now. With every step I take, this is my joyous thought. I take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me.
So now the prayer for protection together. Here we go. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power, and the presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you so much for being here. In a moment, we're going to be rearranging here in, but the gallery, if you can give me the gallery view, I'd love to. So I'm going to start with Marty Lynn because I don't know who Marty Lynn is. Marty, I'm waving at you and I'm glad you're here. And Roni and TJ, happy birthday, Roni and TJ, in the month. It's good to see you guys. Kate Butler from Alabama is here as always. Teresa, thank you for doing that Tai Chi and so many other things. You're a blessing to this community, and I appreciate you being here online. Sandy is here. Frosty is here. Thank you, thank you. And Bobby is here. So, Bobby, I had to bring Babbling Brook in this morning a little bit. So,
all right.
During your Babbling Brook.
Thank you. Thank you, Neil.
See